screeching of an owl, you hear the wind begin to howl. You know there's zombies on the prowl, and it's terror time again. They've got you running through the night. It's terror time again, and you just might die of fright. It's a terrifying time.
Hey ladies and gentlemen, Richard Kenobi here, and I am back again for another MLP Season 5 review, and today we have Episode 21, Sacremaster, and happy belated Halloween, folks, because by the time I have this up, it'll be the 1st of November, and happy Nightmare Night, everyone. So, without further delay, let's go ahead and get into this episode. So, of course, we see that this episode picks up. We see it begins where it's Nightmare Night, and Fluttershy is usually doing her traditional thing she does every Nightmare Night. She stays in her cottage, so of course she's going around, she's making sure everything's secure. She asks the spider to shut the window, she asks the hummingbirds and woodpeckers to tell her if there's anything wrong, and she asks Harry if he has her hiding place ready. And he, of course, shows her, and he does. And it's filled with everything she'll ever need. Blankets, pillows, books, peanut butter, chips, apples, and 2 adorable stuffed animals. And just when it looks like she's got everything ready, she even says she won't have to step a hoof outside. Angel pulls her hair and then tells her that he's out of carrots. And Fluttershy asks him, can't you just have some other kind of vegetables? And he says, nope. So, this means that Fluttershy, for the first time, has to go out on Nightmare Night. So, we see her go into Ponyville, and everyone's, of course, getting ready. We see Fluttershy's scared of the balloons, the trick-or-treaters, and pretty much the pumpkins. And she's freaked out by all of this, and then she stumbles into Granny Smith and Big Mac, who are chugging hay onto this cart so they can get ready for their own traditional cornfield fright, where people go into their cornfield and they scare them. And they're just as shocked and surprised because they ask, aren't you supposed to be in your cottage? And Fluttershy tells them that she came out because she needed food for Angel, and she asks if she can use some of the hay, but Granny Smith says nope, and Granny Smith tells her some terrifying tales that scare poor old Fluttershy to the castle. So we see her go in the castle, and it's dark, it's spooky, it's ominous, and then we see this shadow silhouette walking towards Fluttershy, and it looks like a dragon, Count Dracula, but then it just turns out to be Spike, who is dressed up as a 2-headed dragon, and he uses one of his hands to move the head, and it's cute and adorable at the same time. And he is also shocked and surprised that Fluttershy is out of her cottage, and he asks her, does this mean what I think it means? And Fluttershy tells him, yes, I just came out to get Angel some food because I foolishly forgot to stock up on some earlier. And Spike is disappointed because he thought she came out to spend time with her friends. And he convinces her that maybe she should stay a little longer because it would mean a lot to her friends, and they'd be excited that she's finally gonna spend Nightmare Night with them. So then we go up to the main floor, and we see that the main 5 are telling spooky stories. And they're doing the traditional thing where they hold the flashlight or lantern in front of their heads. And Pinkie Pie gets finished telling a story where the balloons weren't inflated. Ooh! And the main 5 scream, and then they laugh. And then we see Rarity tells a story where one of the mannequins comes to life and steals the costumes. And Rainbow Dash says, and then? And then Rarity says, that's it, dear, I just told you. The mannequin came to life and stole one of the costumes. And, So then the lights turn on, and they're shocked to see that Fluttershy is there, and they assume something's wrong because Fluttershy never comes out on Nightmare Night. But Fluttershy assures them that there's nothing wrong because she wants to spend Nightmare Night with them. Now, of course, mainly Rainbow Dash is shocked, saying, "You? Seriously?" And then Rarity hits her, and most of the others are a little surprised at this, but they say, "What the heck? Okay." So then they all go down to Rarity's place to get Fluttershy costume, and Rarity is dressed like a mermaid. So she picks out this Victorian dress because they're all the raves nowadays, and Fluttershy rejects it, saying, "I don't know, I mean, wouldn't I trip if I ran?" So then Rarity says, "Okay, I never thought of it that way." Then she accidentally smacks her with her fin twice, and then she picks out this regular black dress with this Victorian mask. And of course we see that, Fluttershy doesn't want to wear the mask, but she'll wear the dress because her vision won't be, what she needs it to be.
Vision impaired! Can't see!
So then, while she's putting that on, we get to see the main force costumes. We see that Pinkie Pie is dressed up as a 70s disco dancer with the lightning bolt tattoo on her face. Make a 70s joke here.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
And we see that Twilight is dressed up as a royal guard, of course. Rainbow Dash is dressed up as an astronaut, or Buzz Lightyear. And finally, Applejack is dressed up as the Cowardly Lion, because that looks like the Cowardly Lion. That's not just a lion, it's the Cowardly Lion. So then we see Fluttershy's outfit, and they're a little, shocked, saying, "Where's your costume?" And Fluttershy says, "This is my costume." So then they all go along with it, and they're trying to, play it nice. So then after that, we see they're playing this game where they're pinning a crown on Nightmare Moon. So then, once it's Rainbow Dash's turn, they sing this song, and then Rainbow Dash does a bunch of ninja flips, puts it on, and boom. And then we get to Fluttershy, but she's scared, so they decide, okay, well, let's bob for apples. And then, when Fluttershy looks at the apple, she's afraid of drowning. So then they get rid of that idea, and then, Pinkie Pie tells them she has bags of candy for them. And of course, we see that it weirdly has their faces on it. It's weirdly drawn. Fluttershy's looks weird, and Rarity's jaw is a little messed up, but Rainbow Dash is the coolest out of all of them. So they all take their candy, but when Fluttershy goes over to get her candy, she's afraid something's gonna pop out. So Pinkie Pie slowly, awkwardly pulls the bag away. So then, So then Fluttershy is a little disappointed because she doesn't want to ruin it for them. But then they come up with this idea. What if they have Fluttershy scare them? And Rainbow Dash says that's a bad idea. But, she gets a candy thrown at her. And then we see they go to Fluttershy's cottage. And they are... At first it's dark, gloomy. But then once we see how she intends to scare them, it really doesn't work. It's something that would scare her, but not you, me, or the main five. So then, of course, we see that she has these floating cardboard ponies on screen. She tells them to drink tea and tells them how, Rarity, no one complimented her dress, how Applejack is her hoofs can't reach the tea, and how Pinkie Pie has to talk to the imaginary guest that left because reasons. And then we see how she's doing it by using a simple can and a string to make her voice echo. So then they leave because they say, well, you tried your best. So then they finally go in the cornfield, and then all sorts of spookiness happens. At first it's fine, they're just walking along, but then something's following them. It's weird. And then they start running. And as they keep running, they eventually pass someone who is dressed like Twilight. I am not kidding. It's really weird. Someone actually dressed up as Twilight. And then we see they fall down in a hole in a tree that is reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland. And then the rock closes, and then it looks like they're trapped in the dark, but then Twilight and Rarity use their horns to light it up. And then Applejack thinks she sees Granny Smith rocking in the chair, and then when she goes over, her head falls off, and she screams hilariously. And then after that, we see Rarity and Spike go in, but of course, nothing there. And then they all run and scream from this weird demon-looking thing, who I am going to call Piranha Cthulhu. So Piranha Cthulhu chases them, and then after that, they are caught in this spider web. And then, just when it looks like they're goners, Twilight teleports them out, and they keep running to the exit. And then when it looks like everything's fine, that's where we see that Flutterbat has returned. She does her evil laugh, she comes down swooping, chops one of Spike's heads off, and then just when it looks like she's about to eat them, you know, she sees that they're scared. So it turns out that it was all a trick. That she cannot transform into Flutterbat, she just dressed up like her. And they're all shocked and surprised how awesome it was, saying that she should do it every year. And then we see that it wasn't Fluttershy who thought this out. She actually had help from Angel, the bunny, and of course the woodpeckers as the ghost, and the spider for the spider web, and Harry was baby Cthulhu. So then she says she doesn't want to do it every year because it's not her cup of tea. Even though she'll do everything with them, but this won't be one of them. So they all agree and they're happy. And then it ends where Fluttershy is under her safe place and she's reading a book saying best nightmare night ever. This was a really good episode, guys. I must admit, it was my favorite Nightmare Night episode. And honestly, other than that, I have nothing else to say, but great episode. Really did. And I like the moral that it has. You know, some things you do will not be, you know, what you think you want other people to do. If people want you to watch a certain show that you like, they may like it or they may not. Or if you just want them to do the same thing you're doing, it's just not them. So I like that they have this moral that's easily understandable than other morals in the show. You know, and I like the fact that we actually got to see Flutterbat again, and the jokes were pretty amazing too. So, yeah guys, overall, I would give this episode an 8.9 out of 10. Really good stuff here. So, yeah guys, if you enjoyed my review for episode 21, then please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And until then, fellow bronies and Pekka sisters, this is Richard Kenobi saying, may the force be with you. Signing off, guys. Signing off. Happy Nightmare Night.
Getting